Hi beautiful ladies, this is Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to just answer one of your viewers' questions. I had a very good question from a viewer, MJ, that I really wanted to answer because her question is just so common. Okay, so many women have this issue. I certainly did, so I know a lot of you ladies probably have the exact same problem. Now, before I get into answering that question though, I want to give you guys a heads up. I'm super excited because this Wednesday, roughly 2 days from now, on Wednesday, Sydney time at 9 a.m., I'm going to be doing a live webinar on the subject, 3 secrets of high value, irresistible women that inspire quality men to commit. I know that's such a long title, but yes, I'm super excited about this webinar because it's going to be a lot of insightful, information-packed stuff in there, so you don't want to miss out on that webinar. So all you have to do is go to the link in my description and sign up for that, and you will be on the notification list to access a special link to the webinar. And that's the only place that you will be able to see it. Okay, it's not going to be broadcast live on YouTube or anything. It's going to be only accessible through that private webinar link. So jump on board, sign up for that. And remember, it's going to be on Wednesday, 9 a.m. Sydney time. For those of you viewers in the Northern Hemisphere, that will probably be my Wednesday is your Tuesday. Okay, so it's a little bit confusing because of the time zone difference, but basically you guys are probably gonna be a day ahead or a little bit ahead. So check that out, book that into your calendar, and I can't wait to see you there. So let's get into answering MJ's question. She asked such a great question. She says, "Hi Katie, your videos are so real and on point. Thank you. Thank you for all of this. I have a question. I view myself as a high value woman and mostly acted high value in my relationship, which is 1 year old now. My boyfriend and I are loyal, committed, make future plans together, and he's still pretty smitten with me. We have a lot of fun together, but should I ever bring up anything that needs to be said from my side regarding anything negative in our relationship, or things that I'm going through in life that he perceives as directed towards him? I'm calm and just speak about how I'm personally feeling or get curious towards something using non-attacking sentences. He still shuts down almost immediately and gets super defensive. I'm left calming him down, saying I really just wanted to share my feelings and it's 100% just my view, and that I just want to unpack it with him, and he's left blaming me for saying anything, starts accusing me of stuff, and will generally leave the room or place and continue to ignore me for hours or days unless I come and totally apologize for accusing him when I really was sharing in a warm, loving, calm way how I was feeling about something. Generally in a relationship, he is chasing me, texting me, complimenting me, planning trips, and talking about our future. I'm a constant safe space for him where he can feel love, trust, and playfulness, yet I feel I'm being conditioned to not be allowed to bring up my feelings as it will get turned around. I'm a positive person, and I also love real conversation and can't always be in the same positive space. I've tried asking him what triggered him and why me sharing my feelings makes him angry, how I can rephrase things in the future, and he can't give me a clear answer. I think I'm triggering and he's not enough within him, and it flares up his ego, or he feels guilty, which is totally not my intention. But I need to be able to communicate with my partner. Please, could you offer advice on how to deal with a super defensive, sensitive partner? Am I wrong in my approach somehow? Should I avoid talking about anything that comes up for me?" Great question, MJ. So there's a couple of things here, okay? A lot of times, us women, we say we're just expressing our truth. We're just expressing our feelings, and we use that as a way to basically say anything to our man. And a lot of times that ends up being we're just dumping a lot of our emotional stuff onto him. And this is where some of the issue could be. Okay, I'm not saying 100% of the time this is the case, but sometimes we end up inadvertently using our partner as our emotional dumping ground. Okay, because we think, oh, we've got all these emotions, we have all these negative feelings as well. So I see my partner, I just want to dump it on him. I just want to express how I feel, right? You got to be careful, right? Because I don't think it's a good idea to just have no filter, and because we have a partner, we just say whatever we feel under the premise that we're just expressing our truth. We're just expressing our feelings. I think there should be a bit of consideration on how he would perceive what we're saying sometimes, okay? So for example, if you had a stressful day at work and you walk into the kitchen and you just say, oh, I have to clean up. I have to sweep the floor. I can't, oh God. You know, you make that kind of comment. And you're not saying it to anybody but yourself, really. You're just kind of like venting your frustration at the fact that, oh, I have to clean up now. But he is within earshot. Now, a guy is going to assume indirectly that you're talking about him. You're saying that he's not helping around the house enough. And men, not just your partner, but a lot of guys, they tie a lot of their self-worth, a lot of their value to their job performance, to how happy their woman is, and to how well they can provide for the family. So they're always keeping track of, you know, are they making you happy, or are they doing well at work, for example. So if you are expressing negativity around your man, a lot of times they will take that personally. I still do it with my husband. Like I've said, I sometimes I'll just vent, and then he will get super annoyed because he thinks my unhappiness is because of him. And I have to tell him, no, like I'm not having a go at you. I'm just expressing that I'm just, you know, my own stuff, right? So we have to be aware that he will take it that way, because that is almost wired into a guy to have that kind of gut level reaction. So this is where I say, you know, just be mindful and don't use your man as an emotional dumping ground. That's what I mean. When you are not processing your own stuff, right? When your own negative emotions, you're being sloppy. Okay, that's what's really going on, is you're just being lazy, you're being sloppy by dumping it on him. What I advise you to do, okay, if you are feeling negative feelings, instead of just, okay, turning to your partner, looking at him, be like, okay, I need to get it out, and here's the person I'm going to get it out on. I want you to start taking ownership that, okay, here's an opportunity for me to take responsibility of my own stuff, right? And start practicing processing my feelings on my own before I do the knee-jerk reaction of turning to my man. Because that is not your job. Your partner, that's not his job to deal with all your stuff. That's not his job. He's not there to just listen to you vent all day long. That's not really his job, okay? So we must take responsibility for our own stuff. So I'm gonna share with you how to do that, and there's 3 simple steps how to process your own emotions instead of just doing cleanup work, okay? Getting out of hand, you know, triggering him, you triggering him, him triggering you, and then you having to do cleanup, right? That, if you're constantly doing cleanup, that's gonna be exhausting for you and for him. So when you feel negative emotions, or after an argument probably, I suggest you go somewhere where you can be alone, a safe space where you can have the time to really process things on your own. And first step is you want to go back to the beginning, the first trigger of that conflict or argument. So you might have to think, well, what was the very first thing that triggered it? And usually it's something very, very small. It's a small, slight feeling or moment that maybe you were just a little bit agitated, you were feeling a little bit annoyed, or maybe you weren't feeling anything, you just said something, and then that was the catalyst that kind of turned into a big argument, for example. And then the second step is ask yourself, what did you do and what was the feeling that you had that was driving that action? Okay, so what did you say? What did you do? And what were you feeling at the time? Okay, what were you feeling? And step number 3, you want to go back to that feeling, that initial feeling that triggered it. And now I want you to ride that feeling, to sink into that feeling, okay? Allow your body to feel it. You want to ride that feeling all the way to the end until you no longer feel it. And this, when you do this, you're processing that feeling all the way through. You're demonstrating you are taking care of yourself. And when you feel it all the way through, at the other side of that, at the other end, you're going to feel a lot better. And in a lot of cases, you will actually feel love for yourself. You will start to feel kind of warm and tingly because you've allowed yourself to direct your attention to your body, to within, right? Even though that initial feeling probably wasn't a good feeling. So for example, if you felt lonely, okay, maybe loneliness was the initial trigger, and that was what made you make a comment to your partner. So maybe your comment to your partner was, you know, I feel sad when you come home late from work. Or going back to the messy kitchen example, when you said, oh, I'll have to clean up. Okay, when you said that, you were feeling agitated, but if you really thought back to it, it was because you didn't feel connected with your partner. Maybe you felt disconnected, and that's why you had that reaction. So when you know what the feeling is and you feel that feeling all the way through, instead of avoiding it and knee-jerking to an anger or something else, the second thing then is you probably will find your head will start accessing your creativity to how to solve that initial problem. Okay, that initial problem, if it was disconnection, it was loneliness, maybe how you could have solved it was you could have called up a friend, okay? You could have gone out. Maybe you need to make more friends, okay, if you're feeling lonely. Maybe you just wanted to do more, different activities, go on a different date with your partner. That's different. So you feel more connected to him, right? Either way, now you're accessing something useful in your brain, which is your creativity. Now you're coming up with solutions instead of, just focusing on the problem, just the problem, right? And like I said, guys cannot handle when a woman just comes to him with problems all day long. With women, we just want to vent, right? We say we want to vent, we just want to talk about problems, and we spin on our problems, or, we want to just spin on it. And guys cannot handle that, okay? Men, in a man's world, in a masculine world, he doesn't want to hear about problems. He wants to fix problems. He wants to solve them. So if you have no solutions for him, and you just complaining, he's going to tune out. He will shut down. That's why he shuts down, pushes away, disappears for hours or days, because you drained him emotionally. He is drained. Right, and as some of you ladies may know, when a guy, after like a long argument, 2-3 hour argument, he's ready to go to bed, right? Even if it's like 6 p.m. at night, he's ready to have a nap, because it's very, very exhausting for a man to stay in that environment, to stay in that space. So once again, okay, don't use the fact that you have a partner as an excuse, as a reason to just dump all your stuff onto him. We must take responsibility and start handling our own stuff. And when we go to him now, we go to him with a solution, okay, something that could be useful, right? Now, you've mentioned that, you feel very anxious. You feel anxious, you feel like he's punishing you when he pulls away for hours or days. And I want you to know that when you process these feelings and you go through these 3 steps, you're going to feel a lot better, okay? But he's probably not. He's probably still going to be in his cave. And a lot of times we need to be mindful that we're not getting annoyed at the fact that we're okay now, so he should be too, right? And also, you don't want to be chasing after him or babying him to coax him out of his cave before he's ready, or feeling like you need to do the work now to bring everything back to normal. What I say, cleanup work, right? When we start to feel like, and a lot of the cleanup work is because we're piling negativity on top of negativity. So not only do you feel annoyed at him being annoyed at you, you are annoyed at yourself for annoying him, right? And then you're annoyed again at the whole situation. So you're just piling on the negativity, right? You're feeling resentful that the aftermath, the cleanup stage, you're feeling resentful that you have to do all these things and process all these extra negative feelings, right? So it's important that you don't need to do any of that, okay? Once you process your feelings, you want to just wait for him to come out of his cave on his own. Your man is a grown man. He can handle his own stuff, right? We don't need to go chasing him. We don't need to coax him out. We don't need to do anything to, apologize. By the way, you can apologize. I'm not saying you shouldn't apologize, especially if that's going to help reconnect and rebond you. But you shouldn't feel resentful of it, okay? You shouldn't feel like you need to do all these extra things just because, you need to pull him out of his cave. You don't need to do that. You just need to wait, okay? Maybe go watch a movie, spend time with a friend, read a book, and wait for him to come out. And then once he comes out, then you need to have that post-conflict conversation where you say, I'm sorry, I was feeling like this, I did this, I should have done that was wrong of me, now I know. So basically, you tell him what you processed on your own in the privacy of your own room space. You tell him what you've come up with, what you've thought, and then you pass the mic over to him to say what he needs to say. You don't need to be forcing him, getting him to do this, getting him to do that. You don't need to do any of this, okay? So don't make it harder on yourself trying to be the person to never upset your man, but if you do accidentally upset him, now you need to be the person to make everything all right. You don't. He's a grown man. He can handle himself. He can get out of his own negative feelings just like you can. And then once you get back to having that adult conversation, that's when you come together and say, okay, here's what I found. I'm sorry I did this. I should have done that. Now I know. And then he can say what he needs to say. That is it. Okay, I know that's like a lot to handle. It's not easy, by the way. None of this is easy because none of us are taught how to process our feelings. We're just taught probably from our parents to just get mad, to just react, or to bottle our feelings up, never talk about it, to push it down, suppress it as small as possible. And then it just sits there and cooks, right? It cooks, it churns and it grows and and eventually it explodes, okay? Explodes out of nowhere, and then it makes the situation worse. And then we're left doing cleanup work, okay? Running around doing cleanup all day. And that makes for a very stressful time in a relationship, and one where no one's having fun. You're not having fun anymore. So that would be my advice for you, MJ. Hopefully that has been helpful for you. Okay, so basically I want to remind you guys again, I have a free webinar happening, live webinar happening on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Sydney time. Register for that. It will be on 3 secrets of high value, irresistible women that inspire quality men to commit. So it's about how to get a quality guy to chase you, to commit to you, to go all in on his love for you. It's going to be information packed. It's going to be a great webinar presentation. I can't wait to see you there, and I will talk to you guys soon. I'll talk to you then. Bye.